Hello and a very warm welcome. I am Gushin Garland and you're watching Firstpost. In the next few minutes, I get you the top 40 updates from around the world, only here on Fast and Factual. Let's get started. We begin with the war in Europe. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has offered to resign in exchange of NATO membership of his country. This comes as Ukraine and Russia complete 3 years of war. Zelensky said he didn't intend to stay as president for a decade, but his current focus was on Ukraine's security. The remarks came days after US President Donald Trump called him a dictator without elections. European leaders are set to meet Ukrainian President Zelensky today to discuss security guarantees to the country. This comes amid talks between US and Russia to stop the war in Ukraine. The European Union will also hold a special summit on the Russia-Ukraine war on March 6th. In the United States, President Trump is set to welcome his French counterpart Emmanuel Macron to the White House later today. Macron has said that he will be presenting proposals for action to counter the Russian threat in Europe and ensure peace in Ukraine. French president seeks inclusion of European leaders in the peace talks between Russia and the United States. President Trump's appointees have opposed billionaire Elon Musk's demands. The Doge head asked employees of several agencies about their weekly accomplishments in an email. He warned that failure in compliance by Monday midnight would be considered a resignation by the employee. However, the FBI, State Department and the Pentagon have asked its staff not to comply with it. In Germany, conservative CSU and CDU alliance have secured a victory in the federal election held yesterday. CDU's Friedrich Merz is set to replace outgoing Chancellor Olaf Scholz. Merz is expected to enter coalition talks with Scholz SPD. Meanwhile, the far-right AfD party almost doubled its score in this election. In West Asia, Israeli warplanes flew low over Lebanon's capital Beirut during slain Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah's funeral yesterday. Israeli military also released video of the strike that killed Nasrallah. Meanwhile, Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei vowed to continue resistance against Israel until the desired goal is achieved. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that the country was prepared to resume its fight against Hamas in Gaza. Netanyahu threatened to achieve the Israeli objectives either by negotiations or by other means. This came after Hamas accused Israel of ceasefire violations over suspending the release of Palestinian prisoners. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has demanded complete demilitarization of southern Syria. He added that Israel will not accept the presence of Syria's new forces near its territory. Netanyahu said that Israeli troops will keep their positions in the region as a defensive measure. Israel had earlier entered a UN-patrolled buffer zone after ouster of former Syrian leader Bashar al-Assad. The new Syrian authorities will hold a 2-day national dialogue conference starting today. The dialogue aims to represent all Syrians and conclude with recommendations on how to run the conflict-torn country. The conference marks the final stage in a long process aimed at constructing a new Syrian national identity. A New Delhi-bound American Airlines flight was diverted to the Leonardo da Vinci International Airport in Rome. The flight carrying 192 people was flying from New York. This happened after the officials received a bomb threat. However, the threat was deemed non-credible after inspection. In climate news, California Governor Gavin Newsom has requested nearly $40 billion in federal disaster aid to help the state recover from last month's devastating wildfires. It killed 29 people and destroyed over 16,000 structures. The economic impact is expected to take years to fully assess, with Newsom urging Congress to take swift action in funding rebuilding efforts. Days of heavy rainfall have triggered severe flash floods in Botswana, resulting in 7 fatalities, including 3 children. The severe weather has displaced over 1,700 people. Authorities have closed schools, blocked roads, and warned of further rainfall. Experts suggest inadequate drainage systems in urban areas worsened the flooding. The Sea of Japan coast has been blanketed by heavy snowfall. The extreme weather was a result of an intense cold air mass. Experts have been asked residents to brace for more snowfall. Multiple warnings have been issued by the Japan Meteorological Agency, urging people to stay vigilant to avoid accidents. Scotland is on track to miss its legally binding 2045 net zero emissions target by up to 20 million tonnes of carbon dioxide. This is according to official reports. Experts warn that the ambitious goal is unlikely to be met without significant investments in afforestation, peatland restoration and farming reforms. The country will also have to reduce its reliance on costly or untested carbon capture technology. Countries remain divided over the timeline and content of the next UN climate science report. It will play a crucial role in the 2028 global stocktake on climate progress. Many nations advocate for an accelerated schedule to provide updated data for policy decisions. Oil producing and high emission countries including China, India and Saudi Arabia have pushed back against the proposed timeline. On to business and tech news now. The US Agency for International Development, or the USAID, has put at least 1,600 employees on administrative leave globally. This as the Trump administration has planned to cut jobs in the department. The move, marked by Donald Trump's bid to reduce the government spending. Trump administration hinted at resuming businesses in Russia. US President Donald Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff said that there would be an expectation from the American firms to resume business in Russia following a peace deal in Ukraine. He added that this would be a positive move. In its latest annual reports, Morgan Stanley has toned down its emphasis on diversity. The change hinted at recalibration as businesses adapt to Trump's policies. Berkshire Hathaway also joined the list of companies changing their approach on commitment to diversity and inclusion policies. Stellantis is recalling over 27,300 Maserati vehicles in the US. The vehicles are being recalled over issues with rear-view camera image that does not display. This increases the risk of crash. The announcement was made by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Japan's 7&i Holdings has picked Bain Capital as its preferred buyer. This is reportedly for the stake of the company non-core assets. Bain reportedly offered a valuation of more than $4.7 billion for York Holdings. It was competing against rival private equity firm KKR and a local buyout firm in bidding since late last year. Samsung Electronics and its South Korean labor union have finally reached an agreement. The two sides agreed to increase wages by 5.1%. The protesting labor union of 36,000 members will vote on the preliminary deal between February 28 and March 5th. Apple has scrapped its end-to-end encryption feature for cloud data in the UK. This after the government sought access to user data. Apple users cannot turn on its advanced data protection feature anymore. The Australian online safety regulator has imposed a $640,000 fine on the messaging app Telegram. This as the platform's delayed answering the government on its measures to prevent child abuse and extremist violent material. Last year, the Australian watchdog had accused tech giants of not doing enough and sought response from them on the steps taken. The Qatari government has signed a 5-year deal with Scale AI. The deal involves devolving the AI data company's tools and training to improve the government services. The Qatari government said under the deal, Scale AI will develop over 50 possible uses of artificial intelligence over the next 5 years. Alibaba has said that it plans to invest over $52 billion in its cloud computing and artificial intelligence infrastructure. The Chinese e-commerce giant said this investment will be made over the next 3 years. The announcement was made as the company released its quarter revenue report. Moving to sports, we begin with an exciting update in the world of cricket. In a blockbuster Champions Trophy clash, India beat Pakistan by 6 wickets. Batting first, Pakistan were bowled out for 241 runs, following a 3-wicket haul by Kuldeep Yadav. In response, powered by Virat Kohli's century, India chased down the target with 45 balls remaining. Kohli was also awarded the player of the match. And it was the day of Virat Kohli's dominance in Dubai. The star Indian batter became the fastest to reach the milestone of 14,000 runs. The 36-year-old got there in his 28th innings yesterday, 287th innings yesterday, surpassing the record previously held by another Indian player, Sachin Tendulkar. And Bangladesh are playing against New Zealand in the Champions Trophy. New Zealand captain Mitchell Santner won the toss and opted to bowl first. New Zealand started the Champions Trophy campaign by beating Pakistan, while Bangladesh suffered a loss against India. In football, Liverpool beat Manchester City 2-0 in the Premier League. Mohamed Salah scored the opening goal in the 14th minute to give Liverpool a 1-0 lead. Dominique Szoboszlai took the scoreline to 2-0 before the end of the first half. Liverpool are now table toppers with a massive 11-point lead. Newcastle beat Nottingham Forest 4-3 in the Premier League after leading 1-0 shortly after the game began. Nottingham Forest were pushed back by two quick goals from Newcastle's Lewis Miley and Jacob Murphy. Alexander Isak scored a brace in the first half to give a Newcastle 4-1 lead. Nottingham Forest hit back in the second half but fell short of bridging Newcastle's 3-goal lead. Real Madrid beat Girona 2-0 in La Liga yesterday. Luka Modric scored the opening goal shortly before the end of the first half. Vinicius Jr. extended the lead to 2-0 in the 83rd minute to seal the game. Rangers have parted ways with the manager Philippe Clement after 16 months in charge. The Belgian enjoyed a successful start to reign but had under pressure from the early in the season. Clement's side had won each of their last 5 leagues game before Saturday's 2-0 defeat at home to Saint Mirren. In tennis, former women's world number 1 Venus Williams will not play in the upcoming Paribas Open. The 44-year-old said that she won't be playing in the Indian Wells despite a wildcard invite. She said, and I quote, "I found the announcement super amusing, but actually I am not going to play." In Formula 1, Carlos Sainz was named the director of Grand Prix Drivers Association, the trade union for Formula 1 drivers. The Spaniard replaces 4-time world champion Sebastian Vettel, who stepped down from the role after retiring from F1 at the end of 2022. Formula 1 governing body FIA have condemned the booing of Max Verstappen and Christian Horner at the F1 season launch in London last week. Both world champion Verstappen and his Red Bull team boss Horner were subjected to jeers from some of the 15,000 fans in London last week. The FIA called the booing tribalist and called for maintaining a culture of respect despite rivalries. And finally, to the world of showbiz, the 31st Screen Actors Guild Awards unfolded in the dazzling Los Angeles city. Here are the top winners. Conclave won the award for Outstanding Performance by a Cast in Emotion, while the cast of Only Murders in Building took away the award for Outstanding Performance by an ensemble in the comedy series. The team of Shogun went home with the award for Outstanding Performance by an ensemble in a drama series. Meanwhile, in the actors category, Demi Moore won the award for Outstanding Performance by a female actor in leading role for The Substance, while Timothée Chalamet was given the award for Outstanding Performance by a male actor in leading role for A Complete Unknown. The Penguins' Colin Farrell won the award for Outstanding Performance by a male actor in television movie or limited series, while Jessica Gunning won in the female category for Baby Reindeer. The 72nd Annual Motion Picture Sound Editors Golden Reel Awards honored top films for outstanding sound editing. Dune Part 2 won for effects and Foley, while Wicked took home the award for music editing. Other winners included Emilia Perez for International Feature, The Wild Robot for Animated Feature, and Saturday Night for Dialogue and ADR. Over the weekend, Shakira's concert in Colombia's Medellin city was postponed. This happened due to state safety concerns. The organizers stated that the roof of the stage was damaged. It was installed by a local production company. Shakira shared the heartbreaking information via her social media accounts. And finally, Captain America Brave New World suffered a sharp 68% drop in its second weekend. The film earned $28.3 million after an initial $100 million opening. The Anthony Mackie-led Marvel film has grossed $141 million in North America and $289.4 million worldwide. But the film faces a tough road to profitability with a budget exceeding $180 million. That's all for today. Thank you for joining us. I am Gushin Galan and we'll see you right back here tomorrow. Stay informed and stay tuned to Firstpost.